All right, let's watch a campaign ad. This is a campaign ad for Chris Matisse, who was running in a Republican primary against incumbent Republican David Valadao, who was one of the few Republicans to vote for the impeachment of Donald Trump in January 2021 after the January 6th riots. So here is an ad for Chris Matisse. Let's watch this, and then let's think about where this ad might have come from. So here we go. First, let's watch the ad itself.
Same label, so Republicans got to check the ingredients. David Valadao claims he's Republican. Yet, David Valadao voted to impeach President Trump. Yeah, Valadao voted to impeach Trump. And Republican Chris Matisse, a true conservative, 100% pro-Trump and proud. Pro-Trump Republican Chris Matisse, military veteran, local businessman. Or politician David Valadao, who voted to impeach Trump. Republicans, it's time to decide. House Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
House Majority PAC is responsible for the content of that ad. So, who might the House Majority PAC be? I would guess from the contents of that ad that House Majority PAC is a conservative PAC aimed at giving the Republicans a majority in the House come 2023. Let's see if I'm right about that. Oh no. House Majority PAC is fighting to protect and expand the Democratic House majority. So, kind of interesting that a Democrat-aligned PAC would run that kind of ad, clearly designed to elevate true Trump-loving Republican Chris Matisse over weak tea traitor turncoat rhino David Valadao. But this is what we mean by the Pied Piper strategy. This is Democratic-aligned PACs meddling in Republican primaries for the purpose of elevating, just like that Hillary Clinton memo, right? We have to elevate the Pied Piper candidates like Donald Trump and Ted Cruz because they're more extreme and they'll be easier to beat in the fall. So there you have an example of a Democrat-aligned PAC running what you would swear on your life was a conservative-aligned PAC's message.
Sure.
And this is the same party, by the way. So when Nancy Pelosi goes on stage and says, we need the Republicans to take their party back, you know that she's totally full of shit. She's only saying that for applause lines from the dupes and the morons in her audience because Democrats want an extreme Republican Party. I wish Kate's signal didn't cut out so she could sit in for this segment because that's part of the reason why she left the Democratic Party, because she realized, hey, this isn't about getting things done. This is about polarizing us as a country, demonizing the other side, raising money off of that, and keeping things more or less the way that they are. And so when Democrats talk about we need the Republicans to take their party back, you know that's a lie. They're working. They're literally stuffing the campaign coffers of the Trump Republicans because they think they'll be easier to beat. And worse comes to worse, it backfires. Now Trump's back in office, and what do? Raise even more money off of that. Right?
Yeah.
Heads, I win. Tails, you lose.
Hey, it's a nice racket if you can get in on that cash. I'm thinking about running for Congress.
Right, exactly.
Come on, man. I mean, it's a sweet gig. Come on, man. I'm sitting here listening to fucking Jim Cramer. I'm reading the fucking Market Watch. I'm reading the CNBC. I can just get that information in my morning brief. Boom. I know exactly what stocks to buy. I know exactly what legislation is coming down.
You should have moved downtown.
And then when they call me on it, I just deny it. Like Nancy just did. She ran away from the reporter who asked. Yep. Has your husband ever placed a trade based on your? Absolutely not. And the way she said it, it was like, what an absurd question. How could anyone think that? We outperform all the world's greatest investors year after year after year. How could you possibly think there's something fishy going on with us? This is a big blind spot for the Democrats. And as you point out, they're not that motivated to really win because they're going to make their money anyway. In the end, Nancy Pelosi's fridge is going to be full of that gourmet ice cream no matter what happens. So what does she really give a shit, right? Their big blind spot, though, is they seem not to realize they are so fucking repulsive that they can lose to people that they think are absolutely unelectable. So when they start going down this road, this is what happened with Hillary and Trump, because they just didn't have the concept that, yes, nobody wants Trump, but nobody wants you more.
Right.
That just doesn't occur to them, that their own candidates are so repulsive that, yeah, this can really backfire on you when nobody likes you. Then it comes down to who do they not like more, and also whose people are more motivated to come out and vote. That is where, yes, the abortion thing in the end is a positive for them electorally. I mean, there's just no way that doesn't help them. It just doesn't help them enough, at least as far as the numbers are looking now. Another reason for that is I don't think I've ever seen so many party line Democrats turn on the Democratic Party, ever. I so many people that I think of as blue no matter who people, and I'm not saying they won't vote, but they're really turning on the party now. I really don't hear a lot of voices who have anything good to say about the Democratic Party these days. Yeah, like they still get their Trump hate on and shit, but it's not couched in, did you see when Nancy sarcastically clapped in that speech? I'm not hearing a lot of that nonsense.
Right, of course.
You know what I mean? There's not a lot of them holding up Democrats to look at admiringly.
Now, here's another ad that is not as just bombastic in its support for a Trump-aligned candidate, but this is an ad that the Democratic Governors Association made in favor of Darren Bailey, who is running for governor in the state of Illinois. And this is, like I said, a little bit more subtle, but you can see here, so this is a Democrat PAC put this out. So it is an attack ad on Darren Bailey, but they released this during the primary. And watch, if you look, there's very subtle cues here, but it's really unmistakable that this is really designed not as a general election ad against Darren Bailey, but as an ad for Darren Bailey in the Republican primary. So let's just watch this.
Are pro-Trump Republican Darren Bailey's policies too conservative for Illinois? It was Darren Bailey who sued to stop J.B. Pritzker's COVID mandates. It's why Bailey proudly embraces the Trump agenda, calling into question our elections, protecting gun owners and the Second Amendment no matter what. And Bailey is 100% pro-life and wants to ban abortions and make it illegal here in Illinois. Tell Darren Bailey his policies are just too conservative for Illinois.
Okay, so what did they say? He sued the state over COVID mandates. He knows, they know conservatives will love that. He's pro-Trump. They put the image of Donald Trump with the thumbs up right there. Right. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, in the background, nice image of Trump with thumbs up. They say he's going to protect gun rights, which is a very interesting way of framing that issue from the liberal point of view. You wouldn't say about an NRA-backed candidate that he's a protector of gun rights. You would say he's an extremist, NRA cultist, right?
Yeah.
Look at how they describe him when it comes to the issue of abortion. He's 100% pro-life. Is that what Democrats and liberals use? They use the phrase pro-life to describe anti-abortion zealots? No, they call them anti-choice zealots. You wouldn't call a Republican pro-life if you're trying to criticize them. You would call them anti-choice. You certainly wouldn't call them pro-life and put in the background an image of this wholesome American family at the playground, right? So they make it as an ad criticizing him, but if you could see, all the language and imagery that they're using is actually to gas him up amongst conservative voters so that he wins the primary. Right? So this is much more subtle than the first one we saw, but the intention is the same. And they spent a ton of money on that ad. I think that was the most expensive ad buy of that cycle. They spent more on ads than like Bailey himself.
Million or something.
Yeah, exactly. This race here is the most expensive non-presidential race in history. the gubernatorial race in the state of Illinois. Just amazing.
Please clap.